Top 5 deal breakers in a real estate transaction. Reason number 3, appraisals. This is the one that is the most problematic in my mind. Everything else we can pretty easily solve. When you get to appraisals, typically the appraisal comes in and we get told after the appraisal is done that the appraisal came in low. Now everybody's scrambling around, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Lots of people out there try to appeal their appraisals, and it does get done. People do appeal their appraisals. And on occasion, 1% or so, maybe 2% on a good day, you get those appraisals to overturn them or reevaluate them and come up with different numbers. Not very often does that get done. There's a very slim chance that that's going to happen. If you're going to try to do that, there is a time consumption in this process. Usually you're looking at 5 to 10 days, maybe as long as 15 days in some cases. In those cases, all parties involved, buyer side, seller side, will be asked to come up with comps, submit those comps in, is why and what you think it is different about it. Maybe you've got some upgrades in your property or something unique about your property that might stand out more, and try to submit those and see what you can get done. The success rate on that is very, very small. I don't encourage people to do that. I encourage people to try to find other solutions to the issues and concerns there. Ordinarily, when they come in, they're not missing the mark by a lot of money relative to the value of the property, 5, 10,000, 15,000 maybe. So sometimes that can be buttoned up with just some negotiations between people. Sometimes the buyer will pay it all or pay part of it, and sometimes the seller will drop a little bit of it on there. There's some things that you can do in there to try to work it out. Not terribly complicated, but it does get a little emotional in this particular aspect of things. So please just remember, it's just a house. And, it's not the most important thing in the world. I understand it's your house, it's your money, but at the end of the day, it is still just a house. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing it. The one place that you might see where appraisal comes in that's gonna be low, or they think it's gonna be low, is in a VA appraisal. To me, this is the fairest way to do it, and I wish all appraisals were done the same way. But if you happen to have if you are a VA buyer, or if you're selling to somebody who's getting a VA loan, and the appraiser comes out, and the appraiser is going to appraise the house, and after they've done their initial work, they think it's going to come in low, they enter into what's called Tidewater, Tide water, Tidewater. So the appraiser will just declare a Tidewater situation. They will give a short period of time to both the buyer and seller side to submit comps. You don't know what it is. You don't know if they're off by $1 or 50,000 or any number. You just don't know what they're done. All they're telling you is they can't get the value of the contract. That's the only thing that they're telling you. So you'll submit in your comps and things that you have that maybe you want to point out to the house that creates value that maybe the appraiser might have missed or didn't think of or give proper value to. Maybe they thought it was an older kitchen remodel or something like that when it's only 1 or 2 years old or something. So you can send those into the appraiser side. They'll evaluate that stuff and they'll come out with a final number. That is the final number. It may hit the mark at that point. It may be short, but that's going to be your final number. To me, that's a very fair way of doing it, as opposed to telling people on the other side where you're $10,000 or $15,000 off, and now everybody's trying to scramble to make up this little bit of money in a transaction, which is harder in my mind on it. So that's one of the things that you can do there with it to help out with the Tidewater situation. The other one, come up with comps. When an appraiser is coming out to your house to appraise the house, you can be prepared. You can't influence the appraiser. You shouldn't ask them to do things. You shouldn't ask them what you think the value of it is or whatever the case is, but you can give them comps. So you can have comps for houses that sold in your neighborhood. You can hand that to the appraiser. You can hand the appraiser a list of things that you've done to the house to improve it. New appliances, new roof, new tile, paint job, landscaping, whatever the case is. You can give them a list of things that you've done to the house to increase the value, increase the curb appeal, etc. And if you want, you can put prices next to that. Put new landscaping in, $5,000. Put new floors in, $10,000. Put a new kitchen in, $20,000. Whatever. Just give them a complete list of those things and let them take those into consideration when they go to their final numbers. Oftentimes, what you're going to get is a thank you. And that's really all it is. You're going to find that the appraisers don't really want to get into a conversation with you. They may ask you a question or two, but they try to keep you short, and they keep short on purpose on their side. They don't want to put themselves in a position where they're being unduly influenced. The rules and laws around this are pretty tight, and most appraisers are going to be very serious about those laws and not want to put themselves in a position to where they could be accused of having been compromised or something like that. And it's totally fair for them to do that. So we respect that and hope that all appraisers do the right thing and stay as neutral as possible when they're inspecting a house. And from my experience, my 20 plus years of experience in the industry, I find that to be true. I find that most appraisers are very professional and will do the right thing by you each and every time.